In a viral clip, two men are seen standing outside as a big tanker full of gasoline pulls up, and the man has a few choice words to say, some expletives. A woman says, "Hey, there's children here." He apologizes, but he says, "The gas here is in Arcadia. I don't know about the rest of y'all, beep, but I'm voting for DeSantis, and I'm a Democrat." Yeah, let this be a very serious warning to Democrats and Democrat voters about what's to come in November. They're saying now in the media that Ron DeSantis is dropping the partisanship in the wake of Ian. And the response is just like, as it should be. Okay, yeah, he should. Right now, everybody needs to just lay down the political conflict and say the people of Florida need help because it's really, really bad down there. I mean, Hurricane Ian was basically a Category 5 as it slammed into the state. So good. But you see, the relief efforts are working. You've got people who are Democrats seeing real action take place. The media, they got nothing. So what are we hearing? Well, predictions that Democrats are in for a MAGA November, and there's nothing they can do about it. Democrats are lagging with Latino voters. They're lagging with black voters. And unsurprisingly, the video of this guy saying he's a Democrat, it's two black men saying they're going to be voting for Ron DeSantis. Not only that, but a couple weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, we got a top Democrat in Florida actually endorsing Ron DeSantis. So it will be interesting to see what happens in 2022. But my friends, 2024 is probably going to be the most fun. In their desperation, once again, the media is floating Hillary Clinton. I kid you not. And everybody is begging, please, as they have been. Yes, Hillary, run again. Because if there's anybody who could do worse than Joe Biden, it has to be Hillary Clinton. But of course, this is just one former Clinton consultant saying she is utilizing this playbook that I actually prepared for Bill. The idea is Joe Biden fails so miserably that Hillary Clinton can come in as a moderate and pick up the pieces and win. I doubt it. But hey, you never know what might actually happen. Lo, there may be a conspiracy afoot. Remember that quote from Obama? He said to Joe Biden, "Joe, you don't have to do this." One of the ideas floated in 2020, 2021 was that the reason Joe Biden ran was to create a presidency so foul that when Hillary Clinton runs, she looks better by comparison. Hey, look, I know people hate Donald Trump. But the idea is they can utilize and capitalize the hatred of Donald Trump. But people just hated Hillary more. So how about this? We make Joe Biden so bad that when Hillary does run, people are going to vote for her. Now, I don't know about all that. It's a fun idea. But what I can tell you is that even the Daily Beast is running an article right now saying you cannot ignore Joe Biden's broken brain. And what this means? Predictit says, well, people on Predictit believe the Republicans are going to take control of the House and the Senate, which is, I believe both. It may just be the Senate. This is interesting. Predictit also suggests, well, I should say there's two different Predictit markets. These are not necessarily polls. These are prediction betting pools. They think that Ron DeSantis is more likely to win the GOP nomination, but that Donald Trump is more likely to win the presidency. What does that mean? How are these two ideas at odds? I don't know. But let's break through all of this, and we'll talk about why I think we are seeing the shift from Democrats towards Republican, why so many are switching parties, why so many Democrats are saying they'll vote Republican. I think it's wokeness, hypocrisy, and it's plainly visible to anyone, including and especially normies, the layman. I mean, how many times is the media going to lie about something until finally you just say, okay, I'm done with this? I got to check for myself. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com to become a member and support our work directly. As a member, you are keeping our journalists gainfully employed, and they're eternally grateful for your support. As a member, you get access to our exclusive shows like the Timcast Uncensored Members Only show Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m., as well as the Cast Castle vlog and Tales from the Inverted World. And we're also working on a bunch of new shows which are coming soon. Please consider supporting our work and smashing that like button, subscribing to this channel right now, and being the notifications that you want to see from YouTube. YouTube hasn't been notifying a lot of people. They've been complaining about it. They subscribe to my channels and YouTube does not tell them when the videos go live. If you want to counteract this overt censorship right before an election, share the videos, be that support. Let's jump into this first story. Now, I've shown you the quote. That's it. Dan Bongino has the video. Over 1 million views so far. And just a humble 20 seconds of two guys laughing and pointing out that Ron DeSantis has brought the gasoline. And you know what? I know who I'm voting for, and I'm a Democrat. Yeah, I would not be surprised if we hear that sentiment from many, many more Democrats. But let's make it official. You may have seen this story. Top Florida Democrat endorses DeSantis for governor. This is from thecentersquare.com. A top Democrat in Palm Beach County, Florida, has endorsed Governor Ron DeSantis for governor less than 2 months from Election Day. Palm Beach County Commissioner David Kerner announced in a news conference he was not only endorsing DeSantis for re-election, but was also campaigning for him every day until November 8th. I'm going to pause real quick. To these two men standing in that field being like, I know who I'm voting for. To this guy, David Kerner, vote principle, not party. Mad respect. The 2020 was the first time that I went down ticket Republican. It was the first time that I voted for a Republican president. I didn't vote for him in 2016. It was the first time I actually spoke out and said that I was going to be backing Republicans. Why? Because the principle, because of the issues. It has nothing to do with party. Look, in 2016, I didn't vote for anybody. In 2012, I voted for, I voted for nobody. In 2008, I voted for Obama and a bunch of Democrats. And I think in 2006, I don't remember. But this is a time where I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to vote for Republicans. I don't like the Republican Party. But Donald Trump came out with a second term agenda. He had school choice on the list. I was seeing what he was doing with the war in the Middle East. Something worth voting for, I said. Quote, every day until November 8th, I will campaign for Governor DeSantis, Kerner said. And on November 8th, I will vote for Governor DeSantis. He said he proudly endorsed the governor for re-election. And as an aside, I'm very proud the governor felt my endorsement was worthy of acceptance. This was not a difficult choice for me. This was not the proverbial lesser of two evils. Governor DeSantis has demonstrated himself to be beyond worthy of the humble duties of this office. And he has done so with a level of dignity, purpose, and respect that is lost in the public sphere today. The county commissioner added that despite being a Democrat, he could not remain silent about endorsing the Republican governor. There is too much on the line in this election. The governor's Democratic opponent has already started talking about reallocation, which to me, by the way, is a code word for taking resources away from the men and women that protect us. It's a code word for defunding the police. It is literally defunding the police. The Palm Beach County Democratic Party didn't immediately respond to a request for comment to Kerner's endorsement. They also didn't issue a statement after he made the endorsement. Palm Beach County is the third most populated county in Florida. In 2020, President Joe Biden won the county by 56%, and now the commissioner is endorsing the Republican. The former Republican governor of Florida, Charlie Crist, is running against DeSantis as a Democrat. Say, what? It's so weird. Crist's platform includes an extensive plan to ban the sale of assault weapons in Florida, implement a range of gun laws, and create a neighborhood policing initiative. Crist supports universal background checks for all gun sales, banning the sale of so-called ghost guns, cracking down on straw purchases, corrupt gun dealers, gun thefts, and bulk gun purchases. Bulk gun purchases? That's ridiculous. Implementing a law to require gun owners to report the theft or loss of their firearms and creating a focused deterrence community policing program. He also wants to strengthen red flag laws, firearm safe storage laws, deny the sale of firearms to domestic abusers, repeal Tallahassee's community safety preemption law, lengthen the waiting period to purchase firearms, create an Office of Gun Violence Prevention, among other initiatives. None of his stated proposals include increasing funding for the police departments, expanding police services, or prioritizing hiring more law enforcement. Full stop. If you take funding away from the police and then you take away people's right to defend themselves, where does this lead to? I went to Morgantown, West Virginia, and I met a fella. He noticed me and he waved and he started telling me what was going on. And in the conversation, I got this feeling. They are destroying small town America on purpose. They are taking away your right to defend yourself. Fortunately, West Virginia is a constitutional carry state. They are taking away the police's ability to deal with crime, releasing criminals. And then I noticed the buildings. They were exorbitantly expensive. I said, why are all these businesses out of business? Well, rent's a couple grand. How do you open a business if the rent is a couple grand and you can't even establish the business? You need a place to sell, right? Two things are happening. Well, more than two things are happening, mind you. I get it. Let's not play semantics, but a couple things are happening that are destroying our cities. One, Big investment firms are buying up properties. They're buying them for investments and not using them. How is a small business in a small town supposed to get access to a storefront when the rent is a couple grand and the building's $1 million? You're like, look, I need a storefront. Well, the building's $1 million. Good luck. Can't afford it. Will you rent to me? Nope. We're going to sit on it and there will be no business. And no business means no economic activity, meaning no taxes, meaning no community investment at all, and then just rot. That's one of the things happening. Because of this, people are homeless. They can't afford rent. Rent is too high. It's $2,500 for an apartment in downtown. So I was told. So you end up with a lot of homeless people. Homeless people are desperate, disillusioned. You get drug addicts. Drug addicts make it so just nobody wants to be there. It's amazing. And the other thing that's happening is they're releasing criminals and taking away your right to defend yourself. All of this seems to be orchestrated to simply destroy small towns. It's a nightmare scenario, I guess. But hey, no surprise that Democrats are losing out. More and more Republicans, more and more individuals who were Democrat are registering as Republicans. Take a look at this. Ryan James Gerdusky says New Jersey Republicans continue registering more voters than their Democratic counterparts. The New Jersey GOP is on track to register more than 15,000 new Republicans in the Garden State, while Democrats have lost over 45,000. Take a look at that. 2021 to 2022, you can see the Republicans are up 67,000. Democrats are down 7. In 2022 alone, they're down 45. Republicans are up 14,840. Now, I don't know exactly how these charts break down. Independent voters seems way down 71,000. So it looks like people are registering for political parties. Last month, Dems lost 1,000. Independents gained 12,000. Republicans gained 828. Democrats, 0% growth, beginning and to change. Just nothing. That's amazing. But that's right up top. That's 12/31/2020 to today, 2022. Interesting. So we'll see. It looks like in 2021, there may be something offsetting what's happening in 2022. But suffice it to say, people are switching parties, baby. They don't want to vote Democrat. But I don't know what this means in the midterms. I really don't. CNN says Ron DeSantis pivots from political battles in aftermath of hurricane. As he should. Good job. Why? Okay. And water is wet. I guess some people have said water's not wet. Water is water. Water's touching water. So you get the point. Of course he's doing this. What is he supposed to do? The AP reports DeSantis drops provocations for now in response to Ian. Is this news? It's remarkable that they're like, governor does right thing. Okay. That's just ridiculous to me. But of course, him doing the right thing is exactly why people want to vote for him. But let's talk about where we go in the midterms. Seeing a handful of guys be like, I'm a Democrat and I'm going to vote for DeSantis. My response is, okay, not surprising the least bit. From NBC News, GOP cuts into Democrats' lead among Latino voters, new poll shows. Here we go, baby. 51% approve of Biden's job performance, but a majority disapprove of his handling in the economy in a new NBC News Telemundo survey ahead of the midterm elections. Less than 6 weeks. Oh, man. It's coming, baby. Before November's midterm elections, Democrats lead Republicans by more than 20 points among Latino voters. But that Democratic advantage has declined from previous election cycles, according to a new national NBC News Telemundo poll of the Latino electorate. The poll also finds Latino voters are essentially divided on President Joe Biden with 51% approving his job and 45% disapproving. These are the main results of a survey conducted nationwide. Quote, while Latinos continue to lead toward the Democratic Party and prefer Democratic control of Congress, Republicans have a higher share of the vote than we've measured previously, said Democratic pollster Aileen Cardona Arroyo of Hart Research Associates, who conducted this survey with Republican pollster Bill McInturf and his team at Public Opinion Strategies. McInturf added, being down by 20 points is a lot better for Republicans than being down by 40 points. What also stands out from this new poll are the differences between Latino men and Latino women, between Latino Democrats and Latino Republicans, between Catholic and non-Catholic Latinos, and between Latinos in California and those in Florida and Texas. Latinos are incredibly diverse. Yes, that's obvious. In the NBC News poll, 54% of Latinos say they prefer Democrats to control Congress as a result of the upcoming midterm elections. As a result, versus 33% who want Republicans in charge. Now, the important point is the number is increasing. Republican-controlled Congress is going up. 23 in 2012. In September of 2014, it was 28. Went down. In 2018, it was 26. In 2020, it was 28. And in 2022, it is the highest we've seen in the past decade at 33%. This could be apocalyptic for Democrats, but it's not just the Latino voter. It's black voters. The Wall Street Journal reported this a while back, saying that if Democrats cannot guarantee at least 80% of the black vote, they will lose. Right now, GOP support among the black community is over 20%. I don't know about this specific poll, but let's see where it's currently at today. CNN reports. Oh, here we go. The 2022 midterm elections have already begun, blah, blah, blah. In other words, they say it's not only about who wins, what blocks of voters, but it's about the margins by which they win. That's why I was struck by a recent finding about black voters in an ABC poll. And that's why we begin to look at this. Black voters tend to be forgotten as part of the discussion about general elections. Yada, yada, yada. Looking at the national polling, it seems possible that Democrats might not be able to count on nearly as much support from black voters as they have in previous elections. An average of the final 5 live interview polls of the 2020 election showed Biden with 84% to a 9% lead over Trump among black voters, a big 75-point advantage. But this year, an average of the last 5 interview polls I could find gives Democrats a 74% to 12% advantage among black voters, a 62-point edge on the generic congressional ballot. Let me just slow it down right there. They're saying Republicans could have 26% or potentially even more, 74 to 12% advantage, which usually asks, they say on the generic ballot, which usually asks respondents some form of the following question. If the elections for Congress were held today, would you vote for the Democratic or Republican Party? I want to rewind back to that opening video and tell you why it's so important. They're talking about Ron DeSantis. But do you think they're going to go to the polls and then be like, I'm a Democrat. I'm voting for Ron DeSantis, for the Republican. But I'll vote Democrat for everyone else. Or are they likely to be like, I don't know, DeSantis and the Republican Party seem to got it and go down ballot? I don't know for sure, but I can tell you a lot of them are probably going down ballot. They say this represents a larger swing towards Republicans by black voters than the swing we have seen among all voters in the 2020 baseline. Notably, the final 5 live interview polls I could get from the 2018 midterms showed Democrats with 85 to 9% lead. The shift among black voters isn't something new. In April, I pointed out that Democrats had a 73 to 11% advantage. That's amazing. The simplest explanation is the same one I had back in April. Biden's standing. His average approval among black adults in these polls is 64%. Yikes. In a compilation of the Gallup polls I looked at earlier this year, it was 67%. Biden had an approval rating among black Americans in the high 80s at the beginning of his term. Biden's positive standing with black voters is still significantly higher than his average approval rating with all adults in the low 40s. But it's also lower than the lowest rating of the last Democratic president, Barack Obama, with this group. That's it. That right there is apocalyptic. And then we'll add in this to the mix. Democrats say they expect a pro-Republican MAGA surge in the fall elections. This is another reason why they've so desperately attacked MAGA. Quote, the MAGA surge is real, said a presentation for donors by America Votes, a Democratic group that coordinates get-out-the-vote efforts. Democrats know they are competitive in many races that might have been blowouts a few months ago for a few reasons. The Supreme Court's decision eliminating the constitutional right to an abortion, as well as ebbing gas prices and a string of legislative accomplishments by Democrats. But, warned the presentation, what we're up against, GOP turnout will be very high. Oh, you better believe it. Democrats expect this MAGA surge, largely because turnout in Republican primaries so far this year has been sky high, just as it was in 2021. In Pennsylvania, for example, 1.3 million people cast ballots in the May 17th GOP primary, nearly double the total in 2018. That's an 85% increase. In Georgia on May 24th. Republicans saw an even bigger surge, a 98% increase from the 2018 GOP. Turnout was 1.2 million, up from 607,000 in 4 years prior. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we know where this is going. Over-predict it. Who will win the 2024 Republican presidential nomination? Why, they say Ron DeSantis is the favorite. I certainly think so. You got Tucker Carlson in the mix, but not quite. Donald Trump in close second, 35 to 31. But here's the funny thing. Who will win the 2024 presidential election Donald Trump leads by 1 cent. But then you got Joe Biden, even Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris. I don't think it's going to be Joe Biden. I'm not sure. I don't know. But who may it be? Who may it be? As Democrats start to realize they are doing poorly with Joe Biden at the helm, as they pointed out in the article about Latinos and black voters, Joe Biden's bad approval rating is hurting Democrats across the board. Pay attention to that. Because now we get this from timcast.com. Hillary Clinton reportedly preparing to launch moderate 2024 presidential run. She's just dusting off Bill's playbook that I wrote for him and applying it to herself this year, said Dick Morris. Yes, Dick Morris, former consultant for Bill Clinton. These are the signals that she is going to be the moderate candidate for president, Morris told John Katzimantakis in a Sunday interview per the New York Post. She's going to say after the election, see, the left cost us the House and the Senate. If we stay with a left-wing candidate in 2024, we're going to lose the White House. I'm the only one who will tack to the center and give us a chance at victory. Morris claimed the former Secretary of State was planning on using the same campaign strategy he designed for Clinton to secure the Democratic nomination in 1992. Hillary is just dusting off Bill's playbook that I wrote for him and applying it to herself this year. Clinton appeared to criticize the Biden administration's open borders policy last month during an appearance on MSNBC. Now, my friends. Hillary said she's not running, so this could just be more media bluster. Hillary. Ugh. But hey, man, I wonder. The Daily Beast published this. Biden's brain farts should scare the hell out of anyone who doesn't want Trump back in the White House. The president's mental gaffes are making it harder to defend another presidential run. But he's still the best bet to beat Trump, and the Democratic bench is bare. Could this be why Hillary Clinton is stepping into the fray? Because we are a stagnant culture in decay and the best we can muster up is Hillary Clinton? Oh, boy. When even the Daily Beast is coming out and saying, you know what? Joe Biden's brain is broken. Where's Jackie? That was the question on Joe Biden's mind, and only Joe Biden's mind, on Wednesday, as the president searched in vain for Rep. Jackie Walorski at the White House conference. Unfortunately, the Indiana lawmaker died in a car crash last month. Not only that, Joe Biden paid tribute to her. Bro, that's absolutely brutal. And everybody saw it. It was so bad that journalists repeatedly asked Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, what is going on? It was so bad that Trevor Noah Daily Show rips Biden for shouting out dead congresswoman. Yo, we know Biden ain't going to cut it. He ain't going to cut it. So when we see reports that Hillary Clinton is dusting off the old presidential playbook, oof. I suppose a lot of people are just laughing, being like, if there's anyone who could do worse, people will accept the corporeal form that is Joe Biden without his brain. That's what they wrote in 2020, but they despise Hillary Clinton. What are we going to do, man? Democrats, what do you got for us? The Examiner writes, Democrats eye younger candidates over dinosaurs to run in 2024. They make note. Some members of the party began drafting plans to elevate Sanders, who is 81 years old. If we're putting Bernie in the mix, can I just shout out Ron Paul and be like, hey, Ron, what is Ron, 83? Man, they say Sanders is a possible alternative in the case Biden doesn't run, according to a leaked memo. Wow. However, some Democrats have expressed hesitancy to back a man who is older than Biden, who is already the oldest president to hold office at 79. We should be finding ways to elevate some rising stars in the party who have been crowded out by people like Bernie. What do you got? What are you going to get? You going to get AOC? Yeah, good luck. I want to point this out. Obama reportedly warned Biden about 2020. You don't have to do this, Joe. You don't have to do what? That's the question. What don't you have to do, Joe? When this was first reported, the idea was that you don't got to run for office because they needed somebody with name recognition. I wonder now, so saith these conspiracy theories, if what he was really saying is that Joe Biden would be a sacrificial lamb to absorb all of the failures of the Democratic Party amid the COVID lockdowns and everything, and then be one of the worst presidents ever so that some other Democrat would look good by comparison. Maybe Hillary Clinton. Maybe that's what he meant when he said, you don't have to do this, Joe. And Joe was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to land the proverbial grenade to save the Democratic Party. No, I think what really happened was Barack Obama was like, you don't have to do this, dude, because Obama had insulted Joe several times before. I'll tell you where we're at right now. And I'll tell you why people just don't have faith in what's going on. Scary as hell. Frank Luntz sounds alarm on nearly half of Americans saying losing candidates should not accept election results. And let me show you the end of this. I saw this tweet from Michael Malice. The apparent trend of not accepting election results follows nearly 2-year campaign of former President Trump. Blah. I'm going to give a special shout out to Colby Hall, who apparently wasn't alive in 2016. Colby Hall must have been born yesterday because the Democrats wouldn't accept the results of the 2016 election, going so far as to have a special investigation into Donald Trump. It was insane. Russia. Thanks. They didn't accept it then, and now many Trump supporters don't accept it now, and they blame Trump for it. It was Donald Trump undermining faith. No, it was you. It was all of you. Democrats did it, and now they're mad Republicans are doing it too. Whatever. That's why I say just do the investigations. I entertain the Russiagate stuff. I entertain the Trump stuff in terms of, fine, have your investigations. Let's just get confidence back in this system. Apparently it's not going to happen, and everything's just falling apart. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. You wonder why it is that Democrats are doing so poorly? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. I don't even know if I want to read the quote. I'll just play the video for you.
We have a shortage of workers in our country, and you see even in Florida, some of the farmers and the growers saying, why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here.
Oh, why are you sending our immigrants up north? We need to send them down here to pick our crops.
Wow. Amazing, Nancy. I wonder how many Latinos heard that and they were just like, excuse me? You're not talking about immigrants. They're illegal immigrants. These are people who entered the country illegally. And you're saying they should be picking crops. Wow. K-Man comment. This is Keith K-Man on Twitter. Follows me. He says, who is going to pick our cotton? Democrats never change. Bravo, good sir. Yo, this is why Democrats are doing so poorly. Nancy Pelosi, retire, please. Dude, you want to convince a 30-year-old to vote. And this is what we have to look forward to? Old people. I'll vote for Ron DeSantis. What is he? He's like late 40s? I don't know how old DeSantis is. He's a Zennial or a Gen Xer. I'll take it, dude. The guy's got military experience. He's doing a great job. He's getting endorsements of Democrats. That's bipartisanship right there. I will take it. If Ron DeSantis runs for president, I'd probably end up voting for him. I don't know if Trump's got it right now. A lot of diehard Trump supporters really want me to back Trump, but if Ron DeSantis is bringing what Trump brought in terms of policy positions, I got to say, man, he just seems more with it. That's why I see these not these young guys, but these older guys talking about Ron DeSantis saying they're Democrats, they're going to vote for him. I'm like, dude, I think you got to give it to him. Like in terms of his abilities, he's got Democrats right now saying it. Look at what Nancy Pelosi offers. It is just, it's so cringe. Here we go. VP Kamala Harris says hurricane recovery should take equity into account. Oh, equity. Oh, wonderful. So rest assured, based on race, we'll make sure you suffer. What? That's insane. Ron DeSantis isn't doing that. So I got to say, the Democrats aren't doing themselves any favors by playing all of these games. And the end result of all of this insane racist equity garbage is going to be Latinos and black voters saying, yeah, maybe we're just going to vote for the Republicans because this one is kind of nuts. That's a sad reality of what we've got going on here with the Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi, just an absolutely brilliant statement. The farmers are saying, is she accusing the farmers of being racist? Or is she herself making a rhetorical point and just espousing garbage? So what do you think? You think Democrats are going to be able to pull it off with stuff like this? Ron DeSantis, the gasoline, pulls up and the guy says, DeSantis brought the gas. He gets my vote. That's all that matters. It's an interesting phenomenon that's happening right now. I put a series of somewhat satirical tweets out, like, have you considered spaying or neutering your children to help prevent overpopulation? I'm making a point about what Democrats offer. I think there are challenges with population density in big cities. I think it pollutes, it destroys, and I think we see very serious problems because of it. Also, governance is extremely difficult. A tiny fraction of woke extremists can take over a whole city. It's nuts. So I think we got population density problems. So what do you get? Democrats coming out with policies that are completely unpopular. They don't want you to have fossil fuels. They want to ban fracking. Why? Because climate change. More fuel means more people, means more climate change, right? I mean, they say that. Ron DeSantis says, don't know, don't care. Here's the gas. Have fun. And this means people's lives will be better. So how do you beat that? No, for real. How do you beat that? If you get a politician who says, we're going to make sure you have cheap fuel so you can live comfortably, and the other party says, we're going to ban the fuel so it's expensive and hard for you, who's going to win? The Democrats have a pretty strong anti-population agenda. I'm not saying they're coming out and asserting it. I'm saying they're pro-abortion, they're pro-sterilization of kids, and they're anti-fossil fuels. All of this will result in people having a harder time surviving. It will result in population reduction. The charts are showing all of it. What person wants to struggle? So they won't. I think they're going to come out and vote for Republicans. They're going to come out and vote for vote against Democrats. And they're going to say, get me the policy that makes my life easier. My recommendation, make your life a little bit harder. No, I mean it. Move out of the cities, get away from the population density problems, get some chickens and some goats or whatever, learn how to take care of these animals, learn how they can help take care of you, grow some plants, learn how farming works, have yourselves a little garden, homestead. You will produce less pollution, better for the planet. You will live better in the long run by investing in these skills. Your goats will make funny sounds and your chickens will as well, and you will enjoy it. I read a survey that found most people find chickens' behavior to be entertaining. I don't think if you think overpopulation and population density is a problem, and you come out and you're like, make everyone's life harder. That's the wrong answer. I think we got density problems. I tell you this, guys, you're going to love it. Get out of the cities, get away from the authoritarianism, raise some chickens, and have a good old time. You'll wake up with fresh eggs every morning. The chickens eat the bugs off the ground, or you can give them feed. It's just better. It's just all around better. The fresh air is better for you. You'll live longer. You'll have better skin. You'll have more space. Cities are just so awful. But you know what? I guess Republicans are like, no, don't have the city folk come into the country. No, I'll tell you this. If you took all the people out of New York and spread them out randomly and evenly, it would dilute everything, but the Republicans would still win. And these cities would have substantially less power. They would have less congressional seats. So I don't know what the end result is going to be ultimately, but I can tell you Democrats, their policies are just apocalyptic and people aren't going to go for it. These guys want the gas. They're voting DeSantis. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.